Hi everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to Touchgrass Gardening. Today we're going to be talking about Starfruit, which is also called carambola, which is the amazingly beautiful and delicious fruit that you see behind me. And this fruit has so many cool things about it. This tree is amazing and beautiful. So let's talk more about it. Now, starfruit is a tropical tree, but it actually grows really well in subtropical climates like mine in Arizona, Zone 9B. And that's because it can deal with a minor frost, and it actually likes heat as long as you can keep it from the hottest, scorching summer suns. So right now you can see that this is uncovered. We're in early March. In December, January, if you see a frost, put a cover on. In August, July, when it's 110 degrees, make sure you have some shade for your tree. Where we are here in my neighbor's yard, he has a shed to the west of his tree, and so this helps in the summer, but he still puts a little bit of a shade on top when we have those 110 plus days. And so it does take a little bit of effort, but look at the results. And you can see that this tree and the amount of fruit that it has on is also just the perfect timing for fruit, because it's ready after citrus is done being ready and before mulberry is ready. So it's just this unique time where the fruit hangs on through the winter and is ready in the very early spring, where you're not going to have anything else ready in your yard except for this starfruit. And there's a variety of different types of starfruit. This is a Maher. I have a Kari in my yard. Every starfruit I've tried has been good. I know that both Kari and Maher are good, so if you want to be safe, stick to those two. But there's a bunch of different varieties of starfruit, and as far as I know, they're all pretty great, and they all have similar types of growing standards. So what I talked about with the heat and cold. I will say that it takes a bit of water, just like any other tropical tree. You're going to be watering it every other day in the summer and once a week in the winter. And as far as feeding, it takes about monthly feeding. My neighbor, he feeds just monthly with a very low amount of fertilizer, but he's always giving it a little bit to eat, except for once the fruit's set. So once it gets to November, December, January, he stops fertilizing so that there's no new growth coming during those frost months, and he lets all that energy go into the fruits. And you can see the results. This isn't just 1 year, this was last year, this prolific as well. So he's really figured out how to make a starfruit put this much fruit on the tree. And I think that's actually quite rare and quite well done. And so I think this is a very undervalued fruit for the reasons I just called, but also because it's quite expensive if you try to buy it. And you rarely see it in the grocery stores, but when you do, it's expensive. I have a story. My wife came home and she said, "Hey, Matt, I got these 7 starfruits. They're $2.99 a pound." And I look at the receipt and it actually says they're $2.99 each. So she spent over 20 bucks on starfruit that she thought was $2.99. And these are, each of these are $2.99 in the store. And as far as the taste, it's wonderful. It tastes like a mix of a pear, citrus, and an apple, but it has the texture of a grape with a little bit of a crunch on the outside. So it's really a unique and wonderfully tasting fruit as well. So you're just getting so many amazing things with this tree, and that's why I put one in my yard as well, which is a little bit smaller, and mine is in a pot. And what I've heard from many growers is that starfruit is one of the tropical trees that actually can do well and produce fruit while it's in a pot. Now, this one is in the ground, and it's pretty big. It's 8 feet tall, 8 feet wide, and you can see how much fruit it puts on from even being that small. But I think, and my understanding is, if you put this in a pot, it'll get this big and it'll put on fruit as well. So we'll find out in the coming years. But you can see if you put it in the ground, it works well too. It's not just a pot or a ground tree. This is alkaline, salty clay soil, and it's done well. So this is a pretty hardy tree for a tropical tree. That's a unique tree, and is one of those where you're thinking about, I want something unique in my yard. I highly recommend Starfruit. It's one of the coolest trees you're going to see anywhere, and it has tasty fruit, so how can you go wrong? So I think, you want this tree, go ask your local nursery and see what they say if they have it, or you can also find it online. So I'm actually in my neighbor's yard today, and it's an interesting story in how we met, because in Arizona there's not a lot of tropical fruit gardeners, and he just lives 3 doors down from me. So it was a few years ago, my wife and I and our daughter, we decided to go trick-or-treating, and we were farmers, and my daughter was an avocado. And so we went and met all the neighbors. It was our first year in the neighborhood, and people started to realize that, hey, these people are growing avocado trees in their backyard. And of course, everyone told me that you can't do that here, but I persisted, and as you can see in my other videos, I have mature avocado trees in my yard. But one of our neighbors said, hey, there's another guy on the street who grows tropical fruit trees just like you. And I was like, okay, I'd love to meet that guy. And he's like, yeah, he's over there, his name's Jim, so say hi next time you're over there. And so I was on a walk one day, and I saw him out front, and I said, hey, are you Jim? Are you the guy that grows tropical fruit trees? He's like, hey, yeah, are you Matt? I heard about you too. And so that just started a friendship where we talk about trees, fruit, gardening, and he comes over to my yard, I go over to his yard, and we share fruit with each other that we don't have growing in the other person's yard. So it's just a wonderful thing to move into a new neighborhood and realize that someone has similar interests to you. And so I would invite you to walk through your neighborhood, peer into people's yards. Maybe they have a starfruit tree or an avocado tree or something that you're interested in, and then talk to them about it. I think it's one of the great blessings I've had moving to Arizona and into this neighborhood. So again, you don't know who's next to you, and you might be happily surprised that you have another gardener there. So don't be afraid to talk to your neighbors and check out what they're growing. So let's put the fruit to the test. This is actually the first fruit of the year that he is allowing me to pick and try. So a lot of the fruit is a little bit green on the outside yet, which means it can hang on the tree for a few more weeks. Like once it's fully yellow, doesn't have the green, that's when it's ready. But I think there's a few kind of like this one that do look ready, so let's try it. Pretty amazing. It really is a unique flavor. Like I said, it's a mixture of multiple fruits, but it's just wonderful in that there's a new taste that you can try you've never had before. And so that's why I really love growing these type of unique trees. Again, it's kind of like an apple, citrus, grape, pear with that grape texture, but it is unique to itself. So this is just a wonderful tasting tree. So this has been the Starfruit, aka carambola tree. I hope you enjoyed this video. It makes you want to go out and buy one of these trees, go to your grocery store and try to find this fruit so you can try it, and that you plant one in your house. So thanks again. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.